Okay, so throughout Kaylee's speech, she kept, a lot of times she kept bringing up the point of the statistics in the way that art um, can help the way that children learn, which is a valid argument. There are a lot of statistics that prove that art can help the way that children learn. She said that it does help with human behavior, awareness of self and others, creativity, and verbal and nonverbal communications. Those are all true. The point that I'm trying to get across is that that's not what we're here to focus on. Um, the point that I would like to make is that K through 12 education should be just that, the education part of it. Um, you know, yes, there are kids who don't learn as well in a traditional classroom than others, but um, with as many budget cuts that are going on with schools right now, like we need to plan for these kids and what's going to be the best for them, and that does, and therefore the math and science and English classes do take priority over that because, you know, in the world today, that's what people are looking for. She did mention how businesses are now starting to look for people with more creative experience. But like I said before, there are plenty of outside of school options to do that. Um, the school doesn't have to fund these things. These things don't have to only come from the school system. There are plenty of other options out there for them. Um, she said that 93% of Americans say that art um, is necessary to create a well-rounded education. Um, and yes, again, that is true. I mean, she did present statistics that prove that arts do help with education. But again, coming back to the same point, there are other resources outside of school to help with this. Um, if they want to express themselves through dance, theater, drawing, painting, sculpting, anything like that, there are outside sources that are available to them. If they're not doing well in a traditional classroom, they need some kind of creative outlet. There are these options. We're not completely, when I say that I am, opposing um, this bill that she wants to pass, um, I'm not taking all of these resources away from kids. We're just taking them out of the school system because we do need to make some budget cuts here, and this is unfortunately the first thing to go because it's not completely necessary. Um, but I do think that, you know, she was saying how she thinks that these classes should be mandatory. I don't think that they need to be. Um, there are plenty of students, and I know some, like back when I was in high school, who were AP students taking tons and tons of credits and units and stuff like that, and focusing a lot on their those core classes like math, science, English. They wanted to get those done. They were taking hard AP classes, and all these super hard, tests and things like that. And making an art class mandatory to them was just, it was inconvenient. It was difficult. It made it a little bit harder for them to get the classes that they needed. They wanted to focus on the classes that they saw were important. And then, because the high school made it mandatory that they have so many art credits every semester or whatever, it was just an extra burden to them. And I don't think that it's fair to make art, a prior, like a, what's it called? Necessary for all students when that's not something that every student wants or needs. It's not on their priority. It's not something that the school can afford, first of all, and it should be optional. And with those options come college. I know with this we're talking about K through 12 education, but college does come after that. So if kids go K through 12 and they get the traditional education that I am proposing, but then they realize that they really do want, an artsy education, things like that. They've already taken these, what's the word? I'm totally blanking. They've already taken advantage of the outside sources that I proposed, an outside art class, dance, theater, anything like that. They've already taken advantage of those resources, and now they want to continue that education. So they go to college and they major in arts, or they take a few art classes here and there. Like, that is where it should be up to the student. They're able to pay for it on their own. It's at their whim if they want it or they don't, and then they can really focus on it. That is where the teacher is really going to be able to help them. In say in high school, art classes really aren't all that in depth. They're very surface level, things like that. And yes, if we were to fund them, they would be a little bit better. But in colleges, they're already being funded. So if a child is really expressing a love for the arts and things like that, put them in an outside program. Let them go to college, let them do things there, let them make their own decision in it. But no, I do not think that the government should fund art programs in schools and make it mandatory for all children, because first of all, it is inconvenient for the student, and it is it's just not possible for the government to equally fund that many programs and still provide a quality education for students.